as we explore conversations with unique, interesting, and extraordinarily fierce women who found squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses as a way to survive, overcome, and thrive through all of life's challenges. Badass women and those in training. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. Are you a badass or are you in training? Tune in and let's talk. I am so excited for you to get to know Jocelyn in this conversation. However, we are experiencing some intermittent internet issues. Who isn't? So hang in there with us to the end to learn how Jocelyn recently regained her smile after taking one to the chin. Her perspective is refreshing, her smile is contagious, and her resilience is remarkable. Plus, her approach to turning adversity into purpose defines her very own personal brand within the Badass Women and Those in Training community. Jocelyn, a 41-year-old woman of faith, identifies as nobody's mama and enjoys lending support to women who, like her, are non-moms by either choice or chance. Having released 280 pounds, yes, you heard me, 280 pounds, 280. She reversed her diabetes and high blood pressure more than 10 years ago, found an intentional purpose-filled motivation inspired by her younger sister's recent death after a long battle with diabetes and kidney dialysis, by becoming an advocate for healthy lifestyle and gut health. Also, co-founder and CEO of Worship, an organization created to connect people to the faith that moves them forward, which is in complete alignment to her one purpose, to live a life that glorifies God. So here we go now, squeezing lemons with Jocelyn, who has met many challenges head on in her lifetime, and sporting rose-colored glasses, finding the positive, as I say, Pollyanna-esque approach to make those challenges work for you. And for Jocelyn, it's more like Princess Sunshine. As quoted by Jocelyn, take the leap, knowing that you control where you land. Every outcome in your life requires permission and a decision from you, even destiny. Hello, Jocelyn, and it's wonderful to sit and have a conversation with you today. Good morning, Jocelyn. Thanks for being with us today.
Good morning, Vicki. I'm happy to be here.
You have a great smile. Great smile.
Thank you.
So when I say badass and those in training, what does that say to you? What do you instantly think about?
I think about all women. It sounds incredibly inclusive to me because we're all either there or on our way there. And so I love it. I love that everybody fits in that description. You know, no matter where we are in our walk, we're either on our way or we're sitting there bringing others up with us.
Exactly. So, Jocelyn, are you a badass or are you in training?
I'm a little bit of both. I'm a badass in some areas and I'm in training in others.
You bet. Where do you feel like you're the best at being a badass?
I would say those spaces are in health and weight loss and also in my faith.
Good. And so what areas are you working on improving for you?
Oh, goodness. I think areas of improvement for me are really knowing myself, understanding what's important to me, and being able to limit my interactions based on those things, right? So a lot of times I find myself just saying yes for the sake of saying yes. And I'm learning to be more intentional about what I say yes to. So I'm improving there.
Learning to give yourself permission to say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you give yourself that permission, it opens up a whole new world for you, doesn't it?
It does.
So, Jocelyn, what does a normal day look like to you?
Yeah, so at this stage in my life, I am career searching again. I was laid off in July, and so I'm looking for my next adventure, my next position. And so a typical day actually starts pretty early because my boyfriend goes to work usually sometime between 3:30 and 6 a.m. So I wake up to see him off. I don't get up in all transparency, but I do wake up and say my goodbyes. And then I go back to sleep. And I do what I call easing into the day. Because my schedule is so flexible right now, I'm taking this opportunity to just enjoy the rest. And so I spend the morning just kind of slowly easing into the day. And then I just kind of, work on chores around the house, check email, see if anybody's replied to any job application, that sort of thing. And then in the afternoon, I might go out and do some grocery shopping or do some volunteering.
Cool. So let's say something in honor of your grandmother. Today is your grandmother's birthday. What was her name?
Her name was Catherine, spelled like Catherine, but she was a country woman. So Catherine, she was 75 when she passed in 1996.
She left an impression on you.
I absolutely know that a lot of my jumping out and trying things comes from her. Because I remember as a child, I had little quirks about me that, not everyone in the family understood. And she was very adamant about, she would tell people, y'all leave that baby alone. Let her sit there and read if that's all she wants to do. And so it helped me to just be confident in, doing the things that I enjoy doing and trying new things, even when other people thought it was crazy. And so I know that I carry a lot of that with me even now.
She was a strong woman.
She was a force. I remember her not being able to walk. She could walk when I was first born, but at some point she lost the ability to walk. And so she was confined to a hospital bed in her living room. However, that physical limitation was not one that she allowed to, have a very big bearing on her life at all. If there was something she wanted to do, up to and including cooking, she would send me into the kitchen with a list of things to bring to her. And I would bring the bowls and the ingredients and and all that stuff. And then she would walk me through what to do in the kitchen. So, she just,
Nice.
she was determined. Yeah.
Nice. We'll learn some of the family recipes through that.
That's right.
That experience. What a profound experience. That is beautiful. How cool is that? That was just remarkable.
Absolutely. I spent a lot of time with her. I didn't like a lot of people as a child, but she was one of my favorites. So my mom, she would drop me off at my grandmother's house when they were going to family reunions and that sort of thing because she knew I didn't want to go. And my mother has always been very supportive in that way as well. And so, mom always gave her children the opportunity to do what they wanted to do. And she knew that's where I wanted to be. So she didn't force anything else. I'm grateful for that.
How cool. So what motivates keep you moving forward?
Oh my goodness. There's so many things. I would say here as a my biggest motivation is actually a loss. We lost my younger sister, on Christmas night of last year. She was diabetic. She had type 2 diabetes from age 8. So that's adult onset diabetes. And she was diagnosed when she was 8 years old. She spent a lifetime on medications and with kidney failure and being on dialysis and that sort of thing. And so she lived to 37, technically 38. She went into a coma just before her 38th birthday. And then she passed away in December. And I have found myself being motivated a lot since then, just by thinking about the conversations that she and I had. One thing in particular, I lost a significant amount of weight about 10 years ago, but it was, I got the last 15 pounds. And then for 10 years, she used to say, you're going to sing this song for the rest of your life. So for 10 years, I sang the song, I just need to lose those last 15 pounds. And so when I think about those conversations with her and the things that, I'm going to do it when I get a chance or someday I will. And those some days have, losing her has reminded me that, someday should be today. And so after she passed away, or after she went into the coma, I made the decision that I'm not going to someday my life anymore. And so I lost the last 15 pounds. I published a book that I had written years ago. And, we had talked about that. And was just one of those someday things. And so now I am motivated to do things in real time. So we don't know how long we have.
Absolutely. There's some days in the week, and someday is not one of them.
So true.
Yeah. What's the name of your book?
My book is On Accountability. It's a children's book about accountability, but the main character doesn't understand the word accountability, and all the adults in her life keep saying, that you're going to learn about accountability. And she keeps thinking they're saying that what she's doing is on account of this little boy named Billy T. And so it's a book about her learning what accountability is and why it's important.
I have an accountability group for women entrepreneurs. And one of these days, I may have you read that book to us in lifetime. What do you think?
I would love to do that. Yeah, I would love to do. I have a character that I play called Princess Sunshine. I go and read to children.
So you have Princess Sunshine and I have Pollyanna. Everything I do is a little Pollyanna-esque. So, that's the rose-colored glasses. There's a lot of traits for women that are badass women, those in training.
Mm-hmm.
Women are motivated and driven to achieve things like you have achieved. I mean, you lost any pounds?
280 pounds. Yeah. Person and a half. That's what I call it.
And to do that, to accomplish that, I mean, it didn't happen overnight. And I'm sure there were struggles on the way. I'm sure of it. I'm sure there was moments that every time you see the changes, you would be exhilarated. But with those changes, there was a lot of things that you had to deal with. But I'm just saying, when you lose weight, then you have to change your clothing and you're not where you want to be. And you're still looking at your previous, and you know what you're going toward, but you're not there yet. And so you're struggling with all those things. I see as real struggle. When I hear the words 280 pounds, how do you feel now and where you are here?
I feel like I'm taking advantage of a second chance. I do. I feel like I'm going to get choked up. I feel like this is a gift of an opportunity to live a different life. I was not healthy. And I know that that's not always the case. There are some people who carry weight and don't have the health challenges. I was not one of those people. I had a lot of health challenges. I was diabetic, hypertensive. I was on medication for both, insulin twice a day. My body was falling apart. I had a car accident. I had back surgery. I wasn't healing. I was walking on a walker. It was 30. That was between the ages of about 25 and 30.
That is way too young to have that many health issues.
Yeah.
But look at you now. I mean, look at you. You have a beautiful smile. You have a great attitude. So if others are facing a challenge where they need to improve their health and their wellness and may have some weight that they really want to deal with, what would be the one thing that you could say to them? Why should they? I mean, what can it do for them if they're teetering on the edge of should I, shouldn't I? Why? All those things before you take that step, give yourself permission to make a difference in your own life. What would you encourage them to think about or do?
I would say to them, you're worth it. You're worth it. Ultimately, for me, that's what it came down to. I'm 10 years of keeping the weight off now. And I still have moments where I have to remind myself that I am worthy of this. That making those choices for myself, because I still make that choice every day, right? I'm maintaining the good health, right? And I'm making conscious decisions to not go back to where I was. And I still have to remind myself that I am worth this. It's not easy, but the reality is it's not easy on either side of it. It wasn't easy to be in that place where I was with the bad health. right? That's a hard place to be in. And this is a hard thing to do, but you can do hard things. You can. You probably are already doing hard things. So this is a hard thing that you can do for yourself. And you don't need there to be anybody else or any other reason to make this okay. You are enough. You are enough of a reason. You are worth it. And I would also say start again, because 9 times out of 10, you've started before and maybe not seen the results that you wanted or fell off the wagon or, whatever it was. It's okay. Start again. I didn't, like you said, it's not an overnight thing. I didn't wake up one day and go, you know what? I think now I'm going to lose this weight and tomorrow I'll be thin and healthy and life will be great. That was not the experience I had. I didn't start and then I had to start again and then I had to start again. And, eventually all my starts summed up to where I am now.
Absolutely. You just have to keep recharging your system. So, so if you're on the edge of making changes, whether it's weight loss or if there's something new that you're wanting to try, give yourself permission to say yes to that opportunity. Like Jocelyn said, you're worth it. And what I believe is you are enough, and you have enough to survive where you are right now, where it's hard. You have enough to survive other area where you want to go. If you can see it and you believe that it's for you, you can do it. I really believe that you can really achieve it. You have everything in you to make that happen. So on another note, if you could have given your 16-year-old some advice, what would that be for today? Think about where you were when you were 16 and all that teenage angst.
Yeah.
What you tell yourself from there that you would need to hear for now?
I think what I would say to her is, you're not going to feel the same way about any of this years from now. None of this is going to matter as much as you think it does today.
And it will constantly change.
Yeah. I think I would suggest or recommend to her to give herself some grace.
Well, on the other note, where you are now, what advice would you like to give your future self?
So I think the advice that I would give to my future self is don't forget. Just because that's advice that I've been giving to my future self for many, many years now. I intentionally remember where I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And I want that to always be the case. I want to always remember what things have impacted me, what experiences I've had, just because I think it's important to acknowledge the things that have helped us to grow, the things that have made us stronger, the things that have sustained us. And so I want that to always be the case. I think in order to get to where I'm going, what I tend to do is I sit and I ask my future self what advice she has for me today. So I think to myself, okay, if I'm, here's where I'm headed and here's what I know about people who are in that position, what would they say to me now to get me there? And so I do a little bit of a look back from a future position.
Like surrounding yourself with those where you want to be, surrounding yourself with the leaders that you want to be. Great advice. Do you have a sense of humor?
Oh, absolutely. I try to look for humor in unusual places, tough places, even just because I believe if I can laugh about it, then I can heal past it. So, whether it be, job loss or race relations or just not understanding, where one person is coming from versus another. I look for humor in those things because, the reality is there's usually something funny about it in there somewhere if you just look, right? And was laid off once before, and my coworkers, well, at that point they were past coworkers, that they were really upset about my layoff. Right? They also had their jobs, but they were really disappointed. And so I said, okay, let's go to lunch. And so we went to lunch, and we're there, and they are in tears. And I'm, encouraging them and trying to help them through this sad moment in their life. And so I told them, I said, listen, I'm a believer, and I know that God's going to take care of me. And if he wants to send a busload of circus clowns to feed me every day, I'm going to eat. It's not my job to know how he'll do it. I just have to believe that he will. Well, fast forward to a couple of years after that, I'm still not working. And it was during COVID times, and there was a restaurant that I used to go to all the time in the neighborhood where I live. And they partnered with another program, and they started doing this free meals for anybody who wanted to sign up twice a week. And so I signed up, and I'm getting these free meals of food that I love anyway from this restaurant that I was already patronizing. And so I'm like, this is awesome, right? And I'm sending the information to other people, and they're getting free meals too, and everybody's eating for free. And on the last day of the program, there was a big sign going up for the company that had partnered with the restaurant. And there's an elephant on the sign. And I said, what is that? And they go, oh yeah, the elephant, that's our logo. We've been having this sign done for years and just never got it done. But here it is. Here it's going up today. And I had to laugh because I thought, I told God that he could use, circus clowns to feed me, and he didn't use the clowns, but he kept that circus theme. And I think that's hilarious, right? So little things like that, they comfort me. So humor is comforting, and I think we can find it.
Awesome. And I'm bringing the Badass Women and Those in Training Women's Conference to your area. You're in Atlanta right now, right?
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to do a women's conference there. And so the women who get to see you here and get to know you will also get to meet you in person, because I imagine if I have it there, you will come, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I bet I could count on you to be one of my guest speakers.
I would love to. I'm saying yes.
I'm asking you in advance because I'm creating everything as we go. And so that's the ultimate goal of the Badass Women and Those in Training. It's not just a podcast of conversations. It's women, fierce, feisty females having a conversation about how they overcome adversity, squeeze support in the rose-colored glasses. But people who get to see you via the podcast will also be able to see people in the different online events that we have and the different groups that we create to have these women's leadership conferences and retreats. So that way it's more than just seeing somebody and hearing somebody. It's actually getting to know them. How cool is that?
That is awesome. I love that. I love the opportunity for connection. That's beautiful.
So you needed cheering on. What would cheer you on?
What cheers me on? I think little wins cheer me on. I break my goals down into bite-sized pieces so that I have something to celebrate along the way. And the people who care about me and the people I love and I care about, when I can see that I'm somehow impacting them or motivating them, that cheers me on. Yeah.
Just like eating an elephant, one bite at a time, one win at a time. So if we can leave a takeaway or a nugget for our viewers, what nugget would you like to leave with people who are either wanting to be strong and resilient, or maybe how we can help raise young women to be the strong and resilient and to carry forward with humor? What kind of nugget would you like to leave these ladies with?
The nugget that I will leave is that we all embrace our own brand of badass and allow every other brand of badass, and understand that just because my badass looks different from yours doesn't make mine or yours any more worthy of being called badass. Right? We don't all have to do it the same way, but we can all cheer each other on and champion for each other.
Yeah, I do that wholeheartedly. Badass comes in all forms, all types of resilience, and we can all help each other be strong.
Yeah.
And to know that we are enough and to accept each other where we are and to love each other where we are. I mean, we all have flaws. We all have limitations. We are who we are, and to love each other just the way we are and know that we can either help them get beyond or they can, continue where they're at. But that's their journey. What a great nugget. Great nugget. And you have a great smile to go with that.
It's funny. My smile is newly back. I actually broke my face a couple months ago. I was racing my 18-year-old niece. It was a short race. I went straight to the ground. But I fell. I busted my chin here, and I broke my jaw on both sides. So I broke the jaw, fractured the mandible, snapped my TMJ on both sides, had my mouth wired shut, had 4 surgeries in 3 months. And so my smile was not my smile for a little bit of time there. So I am very grateful that it has come back and I'm doing okay.
Wow. Talk about a win. You were sitting there. Did you ever think, will I get beyond this pain?
I never had that thought. I'm very intentional about thought. So the one thought that I thought intentionally was, this all turned out okay. This all turns out okay. The surgery happened and I got through it, and everything else that's coming, I'm going to get through it. And in the end, this all turns out okay. And here I am, and it all turned out okay.
And you still have your beautiful face. I mean, it could have gone much worse.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I
will say, I learned in that moment that I have a smidge of vanity. As I was falling, the only thought that I remember having was, oh God, not my face. So I lifted my head, and that's how I busted my chin.
Isn't that funny? The things that go through our minds as we are facing situations that are out of our control. Keep moving forward. And you got through it, right?
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you learned a few things from it too.
I did. Listen to your mother. That's what I learned. My mother told me not to ring. Yeah. She told me. She said, don't do it. I said, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And then as she was driving me to the emergency room, she just looks over and goes, I told you? I'm like, yeah, Mom, you told me. Drive faster.
Yeah, that's funny. As a mother's standpoint, looking back at some of the perils my children had, I tried really hard not to say, I told you so, because they were expecting that. And so I would not say that. But, there are situations that all you can do is look at them and go, Well, thank you so much. You have been totally delightful, and I look forward to getting to know you more. Thank you so much for being our guest today. I really appreciate your making time for us. And the takeaway is refresh everybody.
Sure. Embrace your brand of badass and allow for other brands of badass.
She just gave you permission to be a badass. Woohoo! Yeah. Do it. End on a better note than that. Give your permission. Tell yourself yes. And she said, go for it. So thanks, Jocelyn. I appreciate you.
I appreciate
Thanks for joining me today for a little fun. It's all about squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses on all kinds of topics for all of my fabulous, fearless friends. That's it for today. So until our next conversation, this is Vicki Nevins, your host of Badass Women in Building Training. Real conversations with extraordinarily fierce women and so much more. Thank you for watching. In addition to all of the podcast hosts, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. To catch all of our upcoming episodes, remember to like, follow, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell. Bye now.